Let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to absolutely dismantle how you look at money. Seriously, we're taking that crushing, heavy financial anxiety and flipping it into clear, conquerable psychological milestones. Because look, building wealth, it isn't just about watching numbers tick up in an app. It's about a massive identity shift that happens when you cross very specific checkpoints. By the end of our time together today, you're going to have a definitive guide, a literal roadmap, to pull yourself out of the financial quicksand for good.
Okay, picture this. It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling, right? Your brain is just racing through every possible financial disaster that could hit tomorrow. What if the car breaks down? What if the laptop dies? What if the dog needs emergency surgery? You are doing that exhausting Sunday night math again. You know the kind, running the exact same numbers you ran last Sunday and the Sunday before that, just begging to figure out if this is the month you actually get ahead or if you're just treading water again. Are you stuck in a loop, like a totally exhausting financial Groundhog Day?
Because when you take the mortgage and you add the car payment plus the student loans, and oh, let's not forget the absolutely wild cost of groceries right now, it equals pure panic. And I really want to validate that visceral 3 a.m. knot in your stomach, because here is the absolute truth. You are not failing at adulthood. The math of the current economy is just broken. We've somehow normalized living in financial desperation and called it adulting. We rebranded the misery of being house poor or car poor as some sort of required rite of passage. But listen to me, you do not have to participate in this collective insanity. No way.
So to lower that cognitive load and get us out of panic mode, here is the clear step-by-step roadmap we're going to follow in today's Explainer. First, we'll unpack that 3 a.m. money panic. Then we look at the $10,000 cure. Next, we're escaping the status spending trap, crossing the $1 million finish line, and finally, planting your wealth tree. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The 3 a.m. money panic. Let's talk about the reality of living in survival mode.
When you're stuck in this survival mode, making micro decisions out of pure fear, it literally feels like you're sinking in quicksand. You're constantly watching everyone around you buy things they clearly can't afford. But then there's your neighbor. They live on the exact same street, have a similar house, make roughly the same income, but they seem totally unfazed. Why is that? Well, they aren't actually making more money than you. They've just undergone a psychological shift that you haven't hit yet. They aren't consumed by immediate threats, which means their brain isn't constantly on fire.
This brings us to Section 2, the $10,000 cure. This is where wealth building shifts from numbers to actual brain chemistry.
$10,000. Now, most people think they need $1 million to feel wealthy, right? But the real game changer is actually so much smaller. It starts right here. Before you hit this number, you are constantly playing defense. But once you stash $10,000 in the bank, something fascinating happens. Neuroscientists have actually found that reaching this exact level of financial security drastically lowers cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. Hitting this specific number literally changes how your body physically responds to daily challenges. It's wild.
Think about it like this. When you're broke, a check engine light popping up on your dashboard is a countdown timer to absolute financial ruin. It wrecks your week, maybe your entire month. But with 10 grand saved up, that exact same check engine light magically transforms from a disaster into just a minor annoyance. You're bugged, sure, but you are not panicked. And that chemical shift in your brain from panic to mild annoyance creates these incredible ripple effects. You sleep better, you're way more productive at work, and you are infinitely more patient with the people you love.
All right, Section 3, escaping the status spending trap. This right here is the boss battle of modern personal finance.
Boom, $20,000. As you move past that first milestone and hit 20K, the transformation goes even deeper. You officially graduate from survival mode, and you gain what we like to call walking away money. And having walking away money unlocks something massive: the unshakable confidence to negotiate at your job from a position of real strength because, well, you aren't absolutely desperate for that very next paycheck. This is the exact moment your identity permanently flips from playing defense to playing offense.
And once you own that new identity, you totally stop caring about looking rich. This saves you from a massive trap we call automotive Stockholm Syndrome. This is basically when people become emotionally attached to a financial captor, like a massive car loan that is actively destroying their future. They go out and buy these ridiculously expensive luxury vehicles just to project an image of success to strangers at a red light. Strangers who literally do not care about them. That guy driving the $70,000 truck next to you? Yeah, chances are he's just a wealth pretender. Let's break down the math on this because it is brutal. The average new car payment has crossed into absolute insanity. We're talking over $700 a month for a depreciating asset, meaning it loses value every single day it sits in your driveway. But, and here's the kicker, if you took that exact same $700 payment and redirected it into a simple index fund for 30 years, you'd have over $600,000. That luxury SUV isn't just a monthly payment, it is literally handing your entire financial independence over to a bank, all just for that new car smell.
When you finally stop trying to impress random people, you cure what psychologists call decision fatigue. You stop burning your precious mental energy sweating the small stuff, like, agonizing over generic versus name-brand pasta at the grocery store. Instead, you can focus on conquering the three major pillars of wealth: housing, transportation, and taxes. You really start to understand that you can either look wealthy or actually be wealthy, but you almost never get to do both at the same time.
Which brings us to Section 4, the $1 million finish line. This is where the fundamental rules of the game change entirely.
$1 million invested. This is a monumental milestone because at this level, you undergo a complete transformation. You go from being someone who has to trade their precious time for money into someone who actually owns capital. And owning capital is what generates income for you, completely independent of your physical labor.
Let me show you exactly what that means in the real world. The median American household works 40 hours a week, every single week, to earn their income. But if you have $1 million invested at a historical 7% return, that generates $70,000 a year without you lifting a single finger. Your money brilliantly becomes a tireless employee that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, literally out-earning the median household while you're fast asleep.
But here's the catch. To get here and actually stay here, you need a massive mindset shift. At this level, your entire risk tolerance changes. You have to move from playing offense, trying to get rich, to playing defense and preservation, trying to stay rich. The risk tolerance that got you to the $1 million mark is rarely the same one that's going to help you keep it. You stop swinging for the fences to hit grand slams, and you focus entirely on just not striking out.
Finally, Section 5, planting your wealth tree. Let's talk about the actionable steps you can take to start building this foundation today.
Building wealth is basically just like growing an oak tree. You've got to plant the seeds early to let compound interest do its thing, and you have to relentlessly protect those seeds from wealth destroyers. So here are the unglamorous but absolutely highly effective rules to live by. Step 1. Automate your investments so your future self gets paid first. Step 2. Buy those boring index funds we talked about. Step 3. Drive older, reliable cars. Seriously, keep that Toyota for another 5 years. And Step 4, which is the hardest, ignore your flashy friends. This is the real test. Can you handle your friends thinking you're just being cheap while they finance new trucks and put their vacations on Instagram while you quietly build an absolute financial fortress? Because ultimately, you can choose to design your life according to your deeply held values rather than just your bank account balance. That is the real mic drop takeaway here. The actual finish line isn't some specific number you stare at on a glowing screen. The real finish line is the exact moment that the fear of financial ruin completely vanishes and you finally gain the absolute freedom to wake up every morning and decide exactly what you want to do with your day. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Will you keep playing the rigged game, or will you stop looking rich so you can finally be rich? The people who figure this out early are the ones who end up totally comfortable. Refuse to play a broken game, guys. Shift your identity, hit those psychological milestones, and plant your wealth tree. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.